do First In podcast. We are live. Gina's working tonight, so we got our guest host, executive producer, Past Chief Dan Heck. How are you, Dan?
Great. How are you?
Doing well. And as you can see in the studio, we got our guest tonight, Fire Chief from North Strabane, Mark Grimm. How are you, Mark?
How are you?
Doing well. Anything new for you, Dan, this week?
A whole bunch of stuff new, but I'm not going to talk about any of it.
I really have nothing to do either. But the most exciting thing this past week is the fire department Pleasant Hills had the little bonfire up our training shelter.
Little is the key word there.
It was small, but it was maybe 10, 15 people. 10 or 15 people there, but it was fun. It had hot dogs and stuff like that.
You have no right calling that a bonfire. Do you even remember the bonfires we used to have?
Yeah, I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I don't know.
Oh my God, it was a fire pit, people. It was not a bonfire, but I'm glad you guys had fun.
Yeah, it was fun though. So before we get in, I want to run out a little ad from our sponsor here. We'd like to thank our sponsor, FireCam, the one and only manufacturer of helmet cameras built for firefighters. For over a decade, FireCam has been hell-bent on making durable, heat-resistant cameras worthy of the fire service. But they don't stop there. FireCam also offers dash cams, body cams, drones, and more. Their new FireCam Blackjack flashlight kit is a must-have for interior firefighting. With 3 helmet cameras to choose from, the FireCam Mini 1080, the FireCam 1080, and the FireCam Onyx 4K, there's an option for every firefighter. Order now at firecam.com. All right, and thank you to FireCam for sponsoring. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk with Dan Heck. Has a little talk he wants to do about, I don't know, what is it about, Dan?
The keys to success, as if I would know. So there it is. You don't even need to take notes. I'll read this, and I came up with this when we asked Mark to come on, and I started thinking about North Strabane and how far they've come. And I asked myself, what did they do and why is it working for them? And so these are my keys to success. When I look at what Mark has accomplished in North Strabane, I can't help but see 3 key elements that enable success there. Leadership plus training plus funding equals a successful, reliable, capable fire department. Leadership involves having the knowledge and experience to lead on the fire ground. But it is more than that. It requires the ability to command respect and to create a culture that your firefighters want to thrive in. It doesn't stop there. Your leadership must also include the strength and resolve and leverage to cooperate with your governing body without being overlooked by your governing entity. This is essential because cooperation between the fire departments and townships, boroughs, cities creates synergy that encourages us to help each other towards the common goal of public safety. The training, it has to be relentless structured training with accountability. That's imperative. Structured training gives your firefighters skill sets to do the job with confidence and competence. It also gives your governing entity and the people you serve assurance that their support is warranted. Accountability prevents any members that are unfit for the job or unwilling to train from remaining on the job. And finally, funding. It is essential. It's just that simple. I know that many of you are saying North Strabane has the casino. Well, the casino helps for sure, and Mark's going to let us know about that in detail in a little bit. But we can't all have the casino or a large publicly traded company that just happens to land in your community. But we do all have access to a funding source. It is a source that is used to fully fund just about everything except the fire service and EMS departments. It funds police, public works, schools, infrastructure, borough and township administration, zoning, code enforcement, and much more. I know many of you are saying our community is too small to have sufficient tax base. Well, then you need to merge, consolidate, and collect tax money through your governing entities and switch to a combination department. There will always be room for volunteers. But the day of putting the modern demands of fire protection fully on volunteers is over. We go back to strength, resolve, and leverage. You can't take no for an answer. You must pressure your governing entity to find the funds. If your department has the other keys in place, the governing entity should be confident that the funds will go to a responsibly run department. If you don't have the other keys in place, the funds will be used to hire competent, fit, able, qualified firefighters to provide the fire protection the residents are entitled to, just like all the other services funded by taxes. Ancillary funding can come from grants, traditional funding methods, corporate assistance, investments, and property assets. North Strabane, Peters Township, Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, just to name a few of our area's well-respected, competent departments. They all have something in common: leadership, training, and funding. You need all three. In North Strabane, Mark brought leadership and training. The funding came from a great boost from the casino and a rapid growth of development, bringing a strong tax base. The other departments I mentioned have a strong tax base as well. For those that don't, the challenge is to create one by growing your fire district and tax based on that larger district. It will require cooperation from your governing entity, but don't expect them to come to you offering it up. Strength, resolve, and leverage. Lives depend on departments waking up and doing something about the decline. There it is.
Yeah, I think definitely there's a lot of different key points in there. One of them is obviously the funding issue.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why municipalities. It boggles my mind that any fire department has to fundraise on their own in this day and age.
Yeah.
Like, police departments don't have to fundraise. EMS agencies, they do a fund drive, but they don't really have to go out and sell.
So that's where the resolve and leverage comes in. No one wants to use the leverage. Everybody's afraid to tell your community you need money. And anybody who doesn't see a problem right now in the fire service, I'm sorry, is just blind.
Yep, I totally agree.
Let's ask the man how he did it.
Give me 1 second before we get there.
Oh, I see it. Go ahead, start my second.
Copy, requesting second.
All right, our second alarm guest is in studio tonight. Mark, welcome again. Thanks for coming on. So before we get into it, why don't you give us a little background, how you got started in the fire service and ended up out in North Strabane as the chief?
Well, I life member of Pleasant Hills. I've been in the fire service just a little over 35 years. Started as a junior at Pleasant Hills, worked my way up to chief. While I was chief, an ad went in the paper that North Strabane was hiring a deputy chief, and just to start a combination department. So I threw my name in a hat and ended up getting hired, and kind of the rest is history. It has been a phenomenal ride. I mean, as I look back, to be able to create something in your vision, and then fast forward, I'm going on my 18th year. It's been a fun ride, but yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell.
So can you tell us, obviously North Strabane's a unique community. I know it's got a mix of everything: residential, I think some farmland, commercial. You got the casino. We know about that. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
North Strabane's 27 square miles. Obviously we have the Meadows Casino. We have agriculture. We have industry. We have several housing plans, anything from a $60,000 coal house to a $2 million mansion. We have several gas wells. Pretty much you name it is in the township. And right now, the western half of the township is a lot of agriculture that's being bought up, and a lot more single family homes are going in. So it's rapidly still growing. Probably the last 5 years, it was in the top 5 for the most growth in Pennsylvania, but it's still staying busy, and and that's our challenge right now, is we're trying to keep up with the growth.
Rumor has it there's a very special person living in that $2 million mansion. Can you confirm or deny that?
That is a rumor. That is a rumor. But
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's not true.
no, it was.
Oh, I actually thought
that
it
was
was
a
true.
rumor.
Because I noticed the driveways, they blocked it all off so no one could get in there. I guess because of the rumor, people are pulling over.
Or what had happened is someone put that on social media,
Yeah.
and I guess everybody went to their
Yeah.
place.
Oh, I thought for sure that was true.
Yeah, no.
All right.
So in the background, I got a little promotional video you guys just did for you guys were hiring, but I believe that just closed up the other day.
It just closed up. We'll be hiring. We're hoping to hire 4 to 6 more part-time.
These additional spots?
Yeah.
So how many full-time positions you have and how many part-time?
17 full-time, and currently right now we have 10 part-time.
And how do you break that down? Like how many guys you have on a shift? And
Well, typically during the day, I mean, you have the platoons have captain and 3 firefighters, and normally the 3 chiefs are on during the day, weekdays. So you average from 7 to 8 guys during the day, 4 overnight, and then the part-time we try to we spread them in wherever their availability is, just to help out. And then obviously we have our volunteers that'll do duty shifts. So depending on you may one night have 8 people on overnight.
so and then also you got 3 stations, which I'll share here in a second. But how do you divide that staffing up amongst the stations?
So currently, Station 1 and Station 2, they're the ones that are staffed 24/7. Station 3 it's not staffed all the time. We just don't have the personnel right now to staff it. That's one of the projects we're going to be working on is, obviously to get more staffing, work with our volunteers to get more of an aggressive duty program going. So if we could try to staff all 3 stations.
So your duty program for volunteers, they get stipends when
They do.
do shift?
They do. Our volunteers have to make 10 points a month to be active. If they make 20 points a month, it kicks in. It's almost like it's called Colonial Life. It's almost like Aflac, but it also has a college tuition, so they can bank college credits forever they select when the time comes if they're going to go to college. But they get paid. They get paid per call. They get paid for shifts. So, if they're active, I mean, they're making some money. And one thing we also do is their certifications. If it's fire 1, fire 2, fire officer 1, they complete all those. We pay them for them.
Awesome.
An incentive to have them do it.
You don't have a live-in program, do you?
We don't.
You have facilities for people to sleep there, obviously.
Yeah,
Do the volunteers ever come in and sleep there? Okay.
Volunteers will
It's
do.
just not a live-in. Okay.
Yeah, they'll do overnight duty shifts, and that's one of the things that we did years ago. As we started growing, we never wanted to segregate our volunteers from our career staff. So whatever the uniform that the career staff wears, that's what the volunteers wear. So if they're out in the public, no one knows who's career or volunteer, and it's just I think it's paid dividends for us because it's just again, we try to keep it as one team.
So I know show the stations you guys have here a couple years ago when your Station 2 was just built. I stopped out and took a look at that. It's really, really nice, impressive. And then the bunk rooms for the career staff, I guess, volunteers, everybody has their own private bunk room, own private bathroom, shower. It's a very nice setup they got there.
Yeah.
But you just recently opened the new public safety building. That's Station 2.
Station 1, which is the public safety building, believe it or not, it's set up the same way. The bunk rooms are pretty much set up the same way. All 3 of our stations, everything starts with the duty room, where the daylight paid staff is working. It's everything is set up to that, and each station got a little bigger. But they all work well for us. This is our oldest station, obviously 2010.
That's the one by the casino.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the new public safety building, how's that working out? You just recently moved into it, right?
It's working out well. We have a great relationship with our police department. So they do a lot together. But if you look at the whole right side and the second floor is the fire station, left side's the police department. But it's working out. I mean, as any new construction, you got to work through some bugs, but it's turned out nice for us.
And then your Station 2 here, you guys were using that as your primary station during construction.
Yeah. During construction, Station 2 and Station 3, they were the stations that was challenging for us because where Station 1 is, that's the heart of where our population is. So we have a great relationship with Peters Township. We do a lot of mutual aid with them, and they handled a lot of the calls on the northern end before we got there. So it worked out. And that's one thing I can really say about that relationship. There's no egos between the departments. So if they get there first, or if we get in their area first, nobody cares. I mean, I think our residents are so used to it.
I also heard another rumor that you're going to start buying red fire trucks. Is that, can you confirm or deny that one?
Funny story about that. Years ago, when I got hired as a deputy chief, and at the time they really didn't have a lot of equipment, so we had just placed our suffin on order, and it wasn't painted yet. So I was prepping for this, and I went to the volunteers meeting, and I'm like,
You tried.
yeah. And at the time, there was, it was volunteer department supplemented by, a few career staff. So I made this speech. I'm like, hey, we can put these trucks red, blah, blah, going on. And when I got done, there was you can hear a pin drop. And I'm like, so long story short, they're like, don't ever bring that up again.
That's their thing.
Yeah. So
identity.
but we did, darken the color and make some changes. But ironically, the trucks used to be red. They changed them in the 70s.
I thought so.
Yeah. They changed them in the 70s. But but now, I mean, I think everybody, that's our color.
Yeah.
It works out well.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So tell us the story, how going from an all volunteer fire department, you were the first paid person that they brought into the department?
Well, we had 2 paid drivers, and but I got hired as the deputy chief to pretty much start implementing the combination system. And so it worked out very well. I mean, we, the first challenges we just had, we didn't really have a good relationship with the township. And I don't say it wasn't bad, but they just, the volunteers pretty much paid everything for themselves. So with the help of, some of the board members, we started building that relationship. And, I got hired 2 years later. We wrote a SAFER grant. We hired 2 more. And, as the years progressed, we just started hiring. But, one thing, and what Dan had mentioned, so some of the supervisors or councilmen, they just don't know. They don't know what you need. So that's one of the things we started right off the bat. We started communications with our township, and we wrote a strategic plan, 5-year plan, which we kept. That was our Bible. So, and everybody had a say in it. So that helped us out tremendously. But
you got to have a good relationship with them, or they're not going to want to help you. And then they need to have confidence that the money that they give you is going to go towards a qualified program that's going to lead to good fire protection. And then as far as the funding too, it's not all casino. I'm sure the casino helped in a big way, but you'd mentioned the SAFER grant. You probably have written a lot of grants and get funding from the tax base, or was I off?
No, you're the casino. Really, the one thing I really do like what the township does. They don't anything they get from the casino, and it's they probably get like $2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
None of that money goes for staffing anywhere in the township. They use it for capital projects because.
Just to be clear, you said 2 mil. Do you mean 2 mil?
2 million.
2 million.
2 million.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but because they never want to get in a position where they have to lay people off. So, but that's used for. I mean, a lot of it was used for building projects for our township park. So they're always. I mean, the money they get. I mean, they're always trying to reinvest it.
Yeah.
In the buildings or the township. But obviously, we have a fire tax. But we've done well on grants. Chief Yossi pretty much heads up the grants, and he does a phenomenal job. So it's the grants are out there. You just have to go after them.
All right, so everybody's afraid of a fire tax. This is the point I'm trying to drive home. We've got the county, struggling to work on ways to fix these problems, and we're going to have Tom Cook on next week. We're going to pick his brain to see if the state's working on it. My point is, I don't want to oversimplify it, but it just seems to me that you put in a fire tax and you do what you did, and you have the problem solved. Is that oversimplifying it?
No.
And do you get any pushback from the residents on the fire tax? And even if you do, so what? The tax pays for everything else.
Yeah, we raised we're still well under $1 million, but we raised it. I think it was 3 years ago, and probably just over 15,000 residents. We had 3 complaints, and after we spoke to the 3, one was. I think again, once you explain it, they understand it. But our fire tax, it covers probably 3/4 of the fire budget.
Keith, when we had Pat Katina on and we did some numbers, remember? We were way under a mil. It was like a quarter mil or half a mil would take care of the problem. And again, I didn't go into great detail, but we did put some thought into it, and I don't think it's as bad as people think. And it needs to happen.
No, I mean it's not. Again, I'm a taxpayer in North Strabane. I mean, taxes went up a smidge, but it's it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So obviously you guys didn't jump from volunteer department to the combination department you are today. There was baby steps along the way.
Oh,
right?
it took several years. I mean, we had, like I say, we went probably 5 years where it was just a daylight crew, and then we slowly went into 16 hours, and then eventually as we started, as the growth started really happening in North Strabane is when we started getting it, and with growth come your call volume, and it just got to the point where it was too much for our volunteers to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we have good relationships with all of our mutual aid departments, but sooner or later, the residents are going to question why someone else is beating you in. And it just got to it was time for us to go. And,
Amen.
But yeah, so I mean, fast forward, 18 years. I mean, this is where we're at. We're fully covered, and I guess we have we have our volunteers that work well with us. As I was telling you guys earlier, the where we're at now is because of our call volume and our volunteers coming in. They don't know the traditional way of how a volunteer fire department was. So we're trying to figure that out. One thing that I will say over the years that all of our, whether it was the career or volunteer, we got together, we would try different programs, and sometimes they wouldn't work. And to be honest, sometimes they would feel miserably, but we learned from it. So like, we're not afraid to try different things. I mean, if you look at Mont Lebanon, Peters Township, even, Chief Gehring from Cranberry, they got some pretty good programs. So, you see what they have. I mean, that's one thing a lot of the companies do. They're always talking back and forth because, but it's not going to work for everyone. So you just got to get creative.
Exactly. You have to fix the problem, whatever it takes, whatever saying you want to use. If your community is not responding or getting beat in on every call, and I don't even know. Right now, you could go through several companies trying to get a response. This isn't an ego thing. This is what I meant when I said lives depend on you fixing the problem. You have to do whatever it takes to fix it. And in my view, anyway, you just need the funding. Don't laugh. That's the problem. Get the funding and make it a big issue, and don't take no for an answer.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's funny as we sit here, I just had a thought. I mean, years ago when I was, Pleasant Hills, I mean, this is probably when I was 18, I'd be lucky if I made the third truck out because there were so many volunteers.
And you were a quarter mile away.
Yeah. So but now you fast forward. I mean, I think Chief Sahida said it when he was on. There's so much to do for families now. I mean, there's just, the kids' sports and, working two jobs. And it's kind of like, so there just comes a point where, I don't think anybody's blaming anybody. It's just, it's not there.
I think one of the things that happens too, and we've talked about this before, Keith, is you get trying to improve the situation. You get stuck on the way to what needs to be done. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, we're having issues, so let's start a shift crew. And what happens? You start the shift crew, and then what happens to the volunteers?
People start coming around.
It's just one more excuse not to show up for fire alarms. And you were just saying before we went on air that sometimes that isn't always just a fire alarm. It happens, and so you have everything Mark just said. People have their kids, soccer, football, baseball. They have jobs. They have other priorities. So you have a shift crew, and then the volunteers don't show up. So what you end up with is 2 people responding to every single call, and then you get stuck. It's like, well, we already did something to improve the problem, but you really didn't. You're stuck. You have to go all the way. It takes all 3 facets of what I was talking about, but the sticking point is always the funding, and you just have to get it.
Yeah.
Boroughs and townships, you need to just come up with the money.
Yeah, and keep in mind when you're talking funding, like I'll just use North Strabane. I mean, we're right into the heart of budget season, so we're working on it. But you got fire department, the police department. We have probably one of the nicest parks in the area. You have the code enforcement. So
DPW, yeah.
everybody's is submitting stuff, and one good for us is I think a lot of our departments talk, so we kind of know who's doing what, but there's only so much money.
Right, and I get that there's small communities, like even Pleasant Hills is like 2 square miles, and it's pretty heavily populated for 2 square miles, but it's still only 2 square miles. You have to fix the problem. I don't know how else to simplify it. If you're too small, you need to get a bigger taxable district. You need to merge, consolidate and merge. It's the M word that everyone hates, but it's what has to happen, or you'll never get the funding. It'll never happen.
And it's probably in 2012. We were well on our way. Peters Township had their system was in place. We both, Peters and North Strabane, the townships and the fire departments, they did a merger study, and it was we ended up the end result was to merge the career staff and leave the volunteers. We just never did it. But I mean, even back then, both municipalities were up for it. I mean, because again,
you guys, you're big enough, you don't need to do it.
Yeah, but the fire service is it's an expensive sport. I mean, you talk about apparatus, that's a whole nother segment. But it's just like, and I don't know. I mean, I know that some of the challenges we're faced with apparatus. I don't know how some of these departments are doing it.
And even the gear, you almost need 2 sets of gear for everybody because of the contaminants, and just it's, every day it's something else, and it's more and more and more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think part of the problem to the volunteers is we're talking about, when you're 18, how many volunteers we have. But one of the things I noticed, like back then, I think we were running about 400 calls a year. And I know just like Pleasant Hills, now they're running about 800 calls a year. So the call volume's gone up, and I think it starts to burn people out. But I think the attitude has just changed too, where you have to have some type of incentive almost to one. I know you guys do the stipend programs, but somebody actually had a comment about your stipends. So do the stipends and paychecks come from the township, or do they filter money through the department?
It's paid by the department, but they're 1099. So, I mean, it's just there's money that the township, there's an allotment that the township gives the volunteers. They'll use part of that for stipends, but depending on how much you make, you're going to get 1099.
Yeah, and I like you were talking about like the AFLAC and stuff like that. I like perms like that, just use a little bit more value maybe for people to participate.
Yeah.
And then you said that there's certain requirements you have to hit that for that benefit to go in effect.
Yeah. So to be considered active, you have to make 10 points a month. If you make 20 points a month, that's where like the college tuition, and that's where that kicks in. So, but to be honest with you, in our system, you theoretically can make 10 points in a day, depending on what the call volume is. So, I mean, it's not a lot. And I think that's that's one thing we're always looking at. We're always working with our, the volunteer side to see what's too much, so we're trying to figure that out. But, we're also, especially on the volunteer side, I mean, a lot of departments have gotten creative bringing in different members. I mean, you look at, I mentioned Cranberry. You can belong to Cranberry as a social member from here. You have to go up there, but so that's where it's gotten, because it's just a decline.
They have to do what they have to do.
Yeah.
So down the road, where you see, I mean, obviously you guys came from a full volunteer department to a combination department, but another 5-10 years from now, you see it obviously staffing probably increasing your paid staffing and
I think our paid staffing is gonna have to increase. I know that looking forward, in the North Strabane, we have I think 4 housing plans that are on the books that they haven't started yet.
What else is there?
Yeah, we still have. I mean, we have. There's still a commercial area that's growing. So it's coming. I mean, our hopes that we always we'll always have our volunteers because I mean it is. You talk to some of our career staff. It's nice if they have 4 guys on, and like tonight I think they have 1 or 2 folks running the duty shift that their staffing is up. So it's kind of like it helps, but. Yeah, and like I say, we're just gonna try to stay aggressive, and we have to figure it out. It's not gonna any easier, and even on the career side, I mean, I know that if it's whether it's police, fire, EMS, there's not a lot of people. There's not as many people who don't want to do it anymore. So you still get the people, but it's just I mean it is what it is. It's just where we're at.
Well, it's becoming something that who would want to do it for nothing? I mean, it's becoming more and more hazardous to your health, more and more time consuming, more and more calls, but there are smells and bells. It's just the time is now if you haven't figured it out.
Yeah, and that's you brought up a good point. That's one thing that we require for our career staff and volunteers. They have to get a the department pays for it. It's the 1582 physical yearly. And they have to complete a physical agility. So if you have to have those to be employed or be active. But,
yeah, let's be honest. When we had 50 members, I'm not trying to be funny, but if we would have had physical requirements back then, that 50 would have became 20 real fast, myself included. Look at me.
Yeah,
but it's true. Everything's changing. Everything.
And there's just so much. I mean, I know that you talk about the cancer, and we really take a hard look at that. We do everything we can. We have a lot of policies in place that because we're trying to protect our members, whether they're paid or volunteer. We want them to go
home. So another interesting thing I saw that you guys, I believe it's the gold standard for the state. That you got 100% of your membership as firefighter 1, which obviously your paid staff. It's easy because when you hire them, they probably have to have that. But how'd you get all your volunteers to commit to do that?
I mean, this started, probably 2010. Like I say, we really, as a group, we took an aggressive approach to training. We wanted all of our, we wanted everyone to be firefighter 1, then it moved to firefighter 2. But that's the standard. I mean,
you started that at our department right before I got out. Yeah.
And it's just, so now it's just, and then we added a little bit of incentive to it. So, yeah, again, they're taking the certification, but at the end of the day, that's they have the certification, but like the department saying, hey, thank you. So we're 100%. What for us on the horizon, we're looking to go to be nationally accredited, which is probably going to take us 5 years. That's a whole nother animal in itself. But we're just always again, if you keep that's like your municipality sees that you're active, and they're not. At the end of the day, they know where their money's going.
Yeah,
and it's just, it's worked out well for us.
So back to the casino, because I know a lot of people are interested about the casino out there. I know you guys have a good partnership with them. I see every year you do the Toys for Tots program. You also got a station out by the casino. I know you guys staff events and everything out there. But what kind of impact does the casino have on your operations? Just at any given time, there could be an event going on there with thousands of people. And
we have a great relationship with them. Every event that they have, whether it's outside or in their event center, we're there. We kind of handle obviously the fire and EMS. We do the inspections for them. We kind of it's surprisingly, that's one of the things that when they were coming in, we talked to fire departments from Vegas, and they're like, you're going to be there all the time. We're not there that much, and we run probably a handful of medicals there a week, but they're fantastic to work with. But they are a great partner. They just wrapped I think one of our police cars pink for the month. It's running around, but they're good. And like I say, and the money we do get from them, listen, at the end of the day, it helps, but it is what it is.
If something major happens there, you have like that all pre-planned out, run cards.
Yeah, everything.
For a major mass casualty event.
Everything we have is pre-planned. They, it's kind of nice with them. They, we go through anything. If we need something to change, they change it for us. I mean, they're okay with it. But yeah, I mean, we try to keep all of our pre-plans in the rigs on the computers. But that's a full-time job in itself. We have a platoon that's what they do. Is they're always pre-planning.
Yep.
But,
So back to the volunteer staff again. I know you mentioned that they wear the same uniforms as the paid staff, but what other things you do to keep that relationship good between volunteers and the career staff?
we try to. I mean, again, I talked about before. We keep. I mean, our training program is aggressive. We have. We're working through it now. I mean, we have our trainings are on Monday nights, so we get a handful of our career staff, our volunteers come back, and they, I mean, knock on wood, we work just as one asset. So we just, I mean, we from day one, we've always, whether it's training or even on the fire ground, we always, as long as I'm chief, we'll stay aggressive. I mean, we kind of, so I think that helps because their willingness to learn keeps them interested. But again, I mean, our call volume is what hurts us because we just get too busy.
So there's no animosity between paid and volunteer.
Not really. I mean,
Past that.
Yeah, to be
Never
honest
really
with you,
had
we
it.
never really had it.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
we you're going to have your tits and tats,
Yeah.
back and forth, but for the most part, they know the deal if they're coming on shift. I mean, the captain's running the shift. If they got stuff to do, but I mean, the ones that do the duty shifts, they work hard.
On the volunteer side, is there any line officers?
Yeah. So we have obviously myself as chief. We have an assistant chief and a deputy chief that's career, and a deputy chief on the volunteer side that he's elected. Then we have captains, obviously, on the career and volunteer side, and the lieutenants. They are not elected. If our volunteer, the junior officers, there's no voting. They have to submit a resume. They go through an interview process with the chiefs. And, we years ago, we have got away from, trying to get away from the popularity vote. It's on what your merit.
Yeah.
So works out well for us.
Sam here from Irwin. He mentioned that their department, they issue tan gear if you have no training. And once you get firefighter 1, you get fitted for a Cadillac set of black Morning Pride. Firefighter 2, you get a New Yorker. We only have one member that doesn't have their firefighter 1 yet. And he also mentions that it makes it easily identify who's trained and who isn't trained. I think like any type of incentives like that.
Yeah,
like I know
awesome.
Pleasant Hills is doing once you complete your essentials, you get a Taylor's tin with your name on it. So any type of like incentives to strive to get people to get trained is good. All right. Well, is anything else you wanted to talk about, Mark, about North Strabane?
No, I mean, I'm happy to be on. And like I say, I think that, I think for the future for, just the fire service, it's just, you just got to get creative. I mean, the manpower is light. And I think that, and I do agree with you, mergers are on the horizon. It's coming. And it's just, the fire service is an expensive sport. Everything you do, it's too expensive. And I just, I mean, we do very well with funding, but that could dry up at any time.
Yeah. And if they're not talking about mergers now, they should be, because some departments are just going to get left behind with nobody to merge with once it starts happening.
Yeah. And there's, and I always do tell our guys at the end of the day, I mean, we're fortunate enough to have the paid staff, but at the end of the day, we're really no better than the volunteers. I mean, we just, we're able to get out the door a little faster, and we have the fortune, but we work well we have a lot of volunteer departments that surround us. We work well with them. So
You're being nice saying you're able to get out the door a little faster. I'm telling you, there's a lot of departments that don't get out the door anymore. And I'm not being mean. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on what you've done there in your
Thank you.
18 years, and I think it's amazing. It's an amazing department. It's one of only a handful that are as well respected as yours. And,
I appreciate
It's
that.
great.
I appreciate that.
Good job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's quite an accomplishment to take a department like that. You don't hear about that too often. I mean, most departments I sort of knew of already were sort of established. Like Mount Lebanon has been established for ever. Even Peters, I think Peters been doing that for a long time.
Peters
hasn't
has been doing it for a while. They
Yeah.
have a good program in place too. But yeah, but I mean, like I said it earlier, it just for me, what it was fine. I mean, you really don't have the chance to do what we did. So it was just kind of it was just it was neat. It was neat.
We I think definitely going to follow up with Pat Katina too, find out what's going on with those county council meetings. I know the last one was canceled back when the Clarendon Works incident happened. But I give the county credit. At least they're having some meetings to try to come up with some ideas. Or
I'll be interested to hear if the state is even talking about it too.
yeah. So don't forget Tom Cook, Fire Commissioner Tom Cook, State of PA, is going to be on next week. So make sure you submit your questions if you have any questions for Tom, and we'll jump into our news segment here. All right. So first up in the news this week, I got Bethel Park Fire Department is going to be switching to Allegheny County 911. Which reminds me, before we go off, I got to shout out Mark Lovey. He used to be a former Allegheny County 911 shift commander, is now assistant manager at Washington County 911. He saw you were coming on. He said, make sure to tell Mark to say hello. He said, you guys are a big supporter of their operation out there.
They do a good job.
So, so Bethel Park, it seems like very few fire departments, at least in Allegheny County, are left being dispatched by the municipality. Most of them moved to 911 Center, but starting November 3rd. Bethel Park also joins the Allegheny County 911 dispatch. So I think it's a no-brainer for fire departments in Allegheny County.
I didn't know anywhere left.
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, up St. Clair just recently switched. They were one of the few that are left. Trying to think. I think maybe Moon Township do their own dispatch.
I think Moon may.
Did they switch?
They either may have or they're. I don't know. I mean, I remember talking to one of their members, but.
Yeah, there's just a very few, if any, left in Allegheny County, so that's probably a good thing. This news story here. Give me 1 second. I'll throw this up. So we had Charleroi on a couple weeks ago to talk about the trench rescue, and the state lawmakers just met. This was on August. Talk about the trench rescue on August 22nd, where rescue crews spent 5 hours freeing construction worker Vincent Lopez.
Yeah, there he is there.
Yeah, there he is there. Trapped 15 feet underground, but you guys know the story because we had them on. But Senators Devlin Robinson and Camara Bartolo, along with Representatives Dan Miller and Natalie Mihalik, praised the professional teamwork displayed toward the rescue. Charleroi Fire Chief Robert Winton Jr. and PA Strike Team 1 leader Brian Kokila. So the operators showed how strong coordination between local and state teams can save lives. So I think the state just did something recently too, where they either gave more funding to these strike teams or expanded strike teams. You know anything about that?
I know that they were talking about. I don't know what the final.
Well, they came from everywhere for that incident.
Yeah. There's a lot of people there, including North Strabane.
Worked out.
So the other news story I had here. This was I forget which county it is. It's Hartford Volunteer Fire Department. Their engine caught on fire as they're returning from a call. They were leaving a crash scene on the interstate. I guess electrical failure caused the fire to ignite inside the cab while the truck was moving. The operator was able to safely pull over, and both firefighters inside escaped without injury. Despite their quick efforts, the flames spread rapidly, fully involved in the cab in under 3 minutes, and destroying most of the truck and equipment. The department says the rescue engine is likely a total loss, but they're grateful that nobody was hurt. Thanks to the fast mutual aid from surrounding companies, crews managed to save tens of thousands of dollars in gear. Brand new hose purchased in 2024 through a federal grant. Leaders say insurance will help, but won't cover the full cost of replacement, which that's surprising. And they're asking for community assistance in the month ahead. This is in Susquehanna County. So, And what else I got here? The news. Yeah, I just want to give a little shout out to Allegheny County 911 TCOs. Last week, their midnight shift was ending, and they're all on their way home from work on the Parkway, and there was a bad crash that happened. Several of the dispatchers for Allegheny County 911 stopped and heroically rescued two people from two separate burning vehicles. Both of them were actually stuck in a vehicle and I guess in and out of a state of semi-consciousness. The one, they had to break the window. Guy was entangled in the seatbelt, and I think his foot was caught on the dash. And I don't know if anybody's seen the pictures or the videos from it. The one vehicles, that was the vehicle that was really going up in flames. They were successfully got him out, and they went to the other vehicle and successfully got the other occupant out. So kudos to the staff there at Allegheny County 911. I used to work with all these people, good guys. Great job for them. So that's all I had for the news story this week. And I see we might have somebody here joining us. Oh, there he is.
Gino. What's up?
Ken, are you muted? You might be muted. I can't hear you.
I'm not muted now. What's up, Mark?
Now you're on. You guys aren't going to hear him unless you have
That's
the
okay.
headphones on. So they don't have their headphones. If you got anything to say to them, I'll relay it to them.
No, nothing but good, man. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you.
Gina said, it's good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you too, buddy.
All right.
I
So
don't
you
have
got
much. What's
got-
that?
wisdoms for us there, Gino?
I don't really have any really wisdom this week. This week's been kind of a down week, but looking forward to Tommy coming on next week.
Yep. Next week, State Fire Commissioner Tom Cook. Make sure you send us your questions you have for him. Third due first in at gmail.com.
It's pretty quiet here. I probably just jinxed myself.
You're not allowed to say
But,
that. You can't say that word.
But yeah, so the only thing I got is, man, train harder and just try not to suck, man.
All right. We'll see you next week, Gino.
All right.
Thanks
I'll
again
see
to our
ya.
guest, Fire Chief Mark Grimm from North Strabane. Everybody be safe out there, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. with State Fire Commissioner Tom Cook.